Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to update you on a car that I've not covered on my YouTube whatsoever. This car has been an ongoing project now since I purchased it in August of 2023. So here we are, 2025, and the project has made some milestones. So this vehicle, when I bought it way back in August of 23, was a on the trailer, load up and bring back to the Isle of Wight. Now it did drive and it did have an MOT, and to be honest with you, I did actually enjoy driving it around for the tail end of summer in 2023. Now the car in question is my Ford Escort RS1600i, finished in diamond white. It is very close to my heart, this car. I am a Mark III Escort mega fan. I've had various Series 1 RS turbos over the years. Sadly, I lost one to a fire in the back end of 22, and this car was not ever seen as the replacement, but it was there as to fill the void in my life for not having a Mark III Escort. Now, I've never had a 1600i. A 1600i to me, this is an absolute first. I've had loads of XR3s, 3is, Series 2s, and as mentioned, Series 1s, but never had the chance to own a 16i. Now for me, it had to be white. I just love them in white. They are the colour, the spec, everything about it, the black stripes against the white car. For me, that is just 80s retro at its absolute finest. So the purpose of today's video is to show you guys exactly where we are with this car. Now, it was the tail end of 2023, December, when actually, yes, that's right, tail end of 2023, when I decided I was going to pull the car apart. Now, to be honest with you, there wasn't really anything that wrong with it. It had a pretty mucky engine bay that had been covered in wax oil. The car had, for the 80s noobs that know what they're on about, Z-Bar from new. So it had wax oil injected into the rear quarters, into the seals and into the chassis rails. Also, they all put a protective sealant on the underneath of the car as well. Now that followed through to the engine bay. Now what you can't see doesn't necessarily hurt you, but I knew it was there, and I started digging, and I was exposing a pretty good shell underneath. So it wasn't a product that was laced up underneath the car to hide any horror stories. It was just doing a very good job of preserving what is now a 40-year-old car. So after I started scraping some underseal off, then all of a sudden the engine was out. We tried dabbling with dry ice to try and remove these residues in order to try and save the originality of the engine bay, but to no avail. The more we dug, the more we knew we were going down the restoration route. So fast forward to March of last year, 2024, I've got the vehicle stripped down to a pretty good position. I then was looking at it thinking, this needs to go and be shot blasted like my last Series 1 that was restored on the floor. There is nothing quite like a shot blast finish. It gets rid of everything that you don't want on the panel in front of you, and you're left with just naked metal or rust and holes. So that's what's happened. The vehicle was transported down to Marty's, I think it was around September last year, after being sat on my two-poster for most of that time, stripped to a position whereby it would still roll, but it then ended up down at Martin's. So the vehicle has to date been in the shot blasting shed, and I'll link in Martin's video below of all the work that he's done up to now. So you need to go back, watch that video, you'll see how the car was presented to Martin, and then you'll see just how much work he's done in the last few months to get to where we are going to see the car today, 3rd of January 2025. Now there's a lot to do, but what I wanted to capture on film was Martin has said, can you pop down, we do need to order a few pieces, repair panels, etc. Now I'm led to believe it's not horrendous, but we need to make sure that everything is done now in the prep stage before it goes anywhere near a paint shop where it's due to be going at the end of February. So it needs a weld up. There's a few bits and pieces he wants to show me and talk to me about, and we're going to go down the route of either trying to find repair panels, or whether we're going to go down the route of fabrication and making our own pieces to suit the corroded areas on the car. So the reason for this video is I can get all this information out to you now on my drive down to Martin's, and then we'll pick this back up when I'm there, and we're going to get in the blasting shed. I've got a pen and a notepad because I will forget, and we're going to go through everything. We're going to lead to next steps of corrosion control, getting it restored to full metal before it can go into primer and then eventually paint. So be with you in a shortly as we're driving down to Martin's. Right guys, so made it down to Martin's, and here is my beloved RS1600i. Now, Martin and I off camera have just had a nice discussion about next steps, but purpose of today, I'm just going to show you, here's the car. So he has done, as you will see in his previous video that I've linked below, a full strip out process and also a full sandblasting process to expose all of what we've now found, the rusty areas. Now, I'm not going to go into that in any detail because you can watch all of that on Martin's channel. But for the purpose of today's video, here it is. So one shot blasted and primed car ready for corrosion removal. And when I talk about it, there's just areas everywhere that you see masking tape. That is what needs to be dealt with. Now, we've got areas on the wheel arches, areas everywhere inside that you can see that are going to need welding. Now, that's not to say this isn't a good car, is it, Mark?
No, and we've said that off camera actually. It is a very good car. It's just, like Jason said, it might be easier to replace a whole floor pan when it would be to actually, if you look here, prime example, it's had a bit of repair before.
Yeah.
There's small amounts of holes that when I start welding those holes up, you think, oh, we'll just put a little plug in that.
Exactly.
That'll grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So it's all the time consuming little bits is what we're going to deal with now.
Yeah, but I mean, on the whole, to me, I look in there and I'm super happy of what this car is, considering it is 40. It's looking pretty damn good.
Yeah, we weren't sure if it had any kind of work before, but now we've done some blasting. It's had a front panel, it's had a rear panel, it's had various little bits just to tidy it up.
Over the course of its MOT life, probably.
That's right, yeah. But there's not been anything, you know, the old tool MOT welding. There's not been any of that. There's not patches on patches inside the floor. No.
No, definitely. But yeah, so here she is. Bits like this. So I've drawn up a little list today, which I'll go into later on this video when I'm back at the HQ, and we'll get on the internet and we'll get these parts sourced so that Martin can actually carry on with the build. But mate, thank you ever so much for your work you've done so far.
Yeah, no worries at all.
I am in the safest of hands with this car down here. I'm missing it, bless it. I only used it for 3 or 4 months, I think. But as we both know, I can't deal with something not quite right. Yeah. So that is why it's here, and that is why we are pummeling time and money into what will be a very, very nice example once it's done. So that's it. Signing up from MJG. I'm going to get back to the HQ. I've got a great big list down here that I've written up of repair pieces that I'm going to try and track down, and we'll catch up with you guys in a bit.